not only might Marco Rubio leave the administration, you think Elon Musk may as well?
Yeah, I think so. He's going to become kind of the lightning rod for all of this that's happening. They're going to either very quickly or a few weeks down the road realize that a lot of these, let's call it destruction to the federal bureaucracy, is going to really make people's lives harder.
Do you think, Michael, we may also see the possibility of a fracturing of the Trump administration when it comes to Ukraine? The New York Times reported over the weekend about a very fractious cabinet meeting that happened last week, reportedly a spat between Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Elon Musk over Musk's Department for Government Efficiency, DOGE, as it's become known. And obviously that's not directly about Ukraine, but we
Right.
understand that behind the scenes, Musk and Rubio have slightly different approaches to Ukraine. Do you think there's a chance that some of those divisions could spill over into the way the Trump administration is approaching the war?
I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. Because I think there may come a point pretty soon. It's hard to believe the inauguration was in January, and we're only in March. Seems like an eternity ago, but I wouldn't be surprised if Marco Rubio exits on his own. I think the other thing you'll see, if there is any dissent at the cabinet table or elsewhere, you'll see Trump voice his favorite phrase: "You're fired." So he won't tolerate any dissent whatsoever. And you do have to wonder, because I think there's some growing up genes in some of these key players from the American side, that they do see the value of bringing peace to the region, because we're also intertwined and interconnected these days, that a war or conflict in one part of the world can easily affect the entire global economy. So I think the gentlemen coming to the negotiating table this week are sincere about wanting peace, although they do tend to contradict themselves as well. But at the end of the day, it's Mr. Trump to make the decision. And as the Canadians are finding out very quickly, he can say one thing one day and another thing completely different the next, depending perhaps of what mood he woke up what mood he woke up in, or what he ate that day, or what was the last thing someone whispered into his ear. But one thing, this is kind of going back to your earlier question, is I think it's also becoming clear, or if it didn't become clear to people, it should have in that Oval Office chaotic dust up, that Mr. Trump has, in his puppet vice president, J.D. Vance, have unbelievable animosity towards Mr. Zelensky and towards Ukraine. I don't think this was an act. I think what you saw was genuine anger, bubbling up like lava, hot lava out of a volcano. Mr. Trump, recalled things that go back years and years and years. And the problem with his type of personality trait, I think, is that he doesn't forget things. He's very vindictive. And of course, that doesn't play well for Ukraine.
Oh, I wanted to ask you about the importance of Elon Musk's Starlink satellite system, because over the weekend he called
Yeah.
it the backbone of the Ukrainian army, and he said their entire front line would collapse if I turned it off. Separately, Marco Rubio had a spat with the Polish foreign minister over who is
Yeah.
paying for the Starlinks. How important are they to the Ukrainian war effort? And do you think there is a chance that Elon Musk says you're not using them anymore?
Yeah, there is a very good chance. I mean, he reportedly restricted use of the Starlink system over Crimea, the Ukrainian border there, giving the Ukrainians a disadvantage, because he apparently thought that this might lead to World War III or something like that. But, I think in a way it was good that this came out in public, because now it gives the Ukrainians an opportunity, and it certainly set off alarm bells in Warsaw and other European capitals that something needs to be produced to replace this. And yeah, the Ukrainian military is very, very reliant on them. It gives you internet access basically anywhere. But as Mr. Zelensky pointed out as well, there are a lot of humanitarian and other organizations in Ukraine that rely on it. I mean, I used it the other day on a bus traveling from Odessa to the border. There was Starlink available there. So Ukraine is a very high-tech, wired place, but closer you get to the front line, the more damage and destruction there is. overhead wires, underground cables, things like that. So you need a kind of independent, secure, very secure system like that. I mean, you mentioned Elon Musk, the king of the tech bros, and there are questions now being raised in the past days after that apparent chaos in the cabinet room, how long he will be around. Because the other thing we do know about Mr. Trump by this point is that he doesn't like anybody overshadowing him, and I think I may be going a little bit off topic here, but I think it's important to say this. I think at the pace they're going with cutting jobs and benefits that are now very indiscriminate to the point that they're affecting veterans and other supporters of Mr. Trump, that this could very well backfire. And I don't mean only Mr. Elon Musk exiting the scene, but huge turmoil in the United States. I've had very, very smart American friends tell me they fear that because of what's going on at this very rapid pace, who knows, there could be a civil war.
And you think it's perfectly possible that in the next, who knows, few weeks, few months, not only might Marco Rubio leave the administration, you think Elon Musk may as well?
Yeah, I think so. He's going to become kind of the lightning rod for all of this that's happening. They're going to either very quickly or a few weeks down the road realize that a lot of these, let's call it destruction to the federal bureaucracy, is going to really make people's lives harder. I mean, I was stunned when Mr. Trump, in his bombastic address to the joint session of Congress, said, you're going to addressing Americans, you're going to feel a little bit of pain. I think it's going to be a lot of pain. And, now we see he's backtracking on certain things. For example, tariffs that he slapped onto the auto industry. He's realizing, oh gosh, that's going to raise the price of cars, or, these big gas guzzling machines. Prices all over could go up. So it's turning out to be a little bit like an administration in chaos. And again, as we've already talked about, it's causing so much chaos and uncertainty. I mean, it's got to the point clearly where it's already influenced the race for the new leader of the Liberal Party in Canada. The Liberals have vastly improved their support in Canada, whereas the opposition Conservatives may not have a majority government. They're still going to win, but not to the point where they thought. And then similarly in Ukraine, the popularity of Zelensky has gone up quite a bit because of Mr. Trump's attack. And I'm not talking about only the official polling data, but in my daily interactions with countless Ukrainians, they all say he's a strong leader. We have to hang on to him.
Thank you for watching Frontline for Times Radio with me, James Hansen. For more on the war in Ukraine and other global conflicts, you can subscribe or sign up for a membership for exclusive videos. And you can also get the latest news and analysis on Times Radio or from thetimes.com.